Okay, now I can forget how nerve-wracking it is to worry about recording. Um, Welcome, folks. Let's get started. It's really great to have you all here. This is welcome to Planet Somatic, and what a cool place that would be if we could all just live on that planet for a while. Um, what you've joined for this session is a live coaching session. Over the next hour, we're going to be doing a demonstration of somatic coaching. So you can just relax and enjoy it and observe it and just kind of see what you make of it. It's something that over the years at the somatic school, we've had a lot of people say, well, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could just see a demonstration of a full session? So throughout the training, we run lots of practice sessions. We have demonstrations of a particular skill. But this is the first time that I've been invited to do like a demonstration of a whole coaching session, which is really exciting because you get to just piece it all together and you'll be able to see what it looks like from start to finish as a session. So my name's Paul. I'm one of the course trainers with the Somatic School. I trained with the Somatic School in 2020, I think it was. I think it was one of the first uh, cohorts that happened during the first pandemic lockdown. And I went through the training, absolutely loved it. And I mean, it's one of those things like it sounds a bit kind of dramatic to say it was life-changing, but for me, it was life-changing because I then made a decision that I was going to leave my full-time job and I was going to set myself up as a independent practitioner. And so I did that. And I've been doing that now for just over 3 years. And quite early in that process, the Somatic School got in touch and said, "Oh, would you like to come and be one of our trainers?" Which was just, like those things don't happen in real life. It felt like a bit of a dream. And so I've had the pleasure of stewarding many people through this process. I haven't done a count, but I think I must be up to about, I don't know, 15, 16 cohorts of people over the years going through the program. And I'm going to be starting a new cohort in November, which I'm very excited about. Was I already a coach? So I'd been like a corporate coach. So in my kind of day job, I was a coach and I was also a mentor. But most of my work was around like organization and people development. So looking at kind of wider systems. But then I also was often used as a coach one to one. And I didn't have much experience of the body oriented side of things. But actually, it came to me, it was in lockdown. I was doing an online yoga class and could not do the move. And the person who was running the class was saying to us, like, come on, you can do, as they do, come on, you can do this. And I was going, I can't do it, I can't do it. And he said, look, just trust your body. Your body knows what to do. And I had this insight where I was like, oh, I don't trust my body. Where's that come from? And it took me all the way back to school about like growing up as a gay child and that feeling in a changing room of going, oh, I don't trust my body. And so that kind of got me really curious about somatics and embodied work. So I was able to bring my coaching experience to the somatic school and then immerse myself in this kind of body oriented world. But also on the course, we have people from all backgrounds. We have people who've come from maybe being a yoga teacher who has never coached before, and we have people who have experience of neither, people who've experience of both. So it's a very I don't know, holistic approach to it. So yeah, thank you for that. We keep popping your questions in, and then we can come back at the end of the demonstration and see what's on your mind. But yeah, keep putting them in throughout the session. So that's enough about me because I think in a coaching space, for me, like the joy of being a coach more and more is about doing less and less, like seeing how almost how little of myself I can bring into the space so that there's space for the client. Today, we're using the word client and we're also using the word companion, and we'll say a bit more about that. But today, Georgina from the Somatic School is going to be our client slash companion. Georgina, do you want to just say hello and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul. Hello, everyone. So lovely to be here with you. I also work at the Somatic School. So I'm the Somatic School's subject specialist. But for this session, I am very lucky enough to be the coachee or the companion for Paul. Very much looking forward to it.
Thank you for doing this, Georgina. And I've also just noticed you've got a football thing table behind you. Is that real? That's not a fake background.
It is real. So I'm at my mum's at the moment, and they're unpacking. So this looks relatively clear, actually. But yes, there's a lot of different bits behind me.
I've never known anyone to actually have one of those apart from in a film. So,
I was like, "Do you want to keep this? Are you sure?"
but I mean, if they said no, I'd be concerned. Um, Thank you for doing this, Georgina. So, just to give you a sense of how it works on the course, if you're new to this, uh, when I'm training a cohort, the people that you meet in the room, there would be me as a trainer. We would also have one of our colleagues who's there as a tech host, so that you don't have to worry about any of the technical things, like if you have any problems with your video or audio and going into breakout rooms. We always have a tech host who's there to just make everything smooth. And then we have a companion on each of the weekend modules who's someone who has been through the training and then comes back to help out. And so the role of the companion on the weekends is to do what Georgina's doing today, which is to kind of step in and do some demonstrations of some of the skills live. And also to hold what we call the wellness pod, which is a space where you can go and just chat to someone if you want a bit of time out from the room or if you just want to talk over something. So the companion role is a really important one and just adds a different kind of dimension to the space because it's someone who's been through the process already. The really lovely thing, well, I mean, there's many lovely things about doing this with you, Georgina, but the really lovely thing for me today is that when we've worked together with you as a companion, it's always been just to focus on one skill. And so we've gone straight into it and we've said, right, we're going to practice this skill. Let's go for it for like 5 or 6 minutes. I've never offered you a full coaching session. And so I'm really excited that we get to do a whole kind of, I don't know, 35, 40-minute coaching session and just see where it goes. Because, when you entered the room today, I was like, don't talk to me. I don't want to know anything that's going on because I no spoilers so that we can just come to this completely fresh. So I'm really excited about that. For the folk who are going to be in the room observing, what we would love you to do, if you fancy it, is just to notice what's happening in the coaching space. Like, I mean, you don't have to have a job when you're here. You can just sit back and enjoy it. But if you feel like it, you might just want to notice what impact do some of the questions have? Maybe what some of the tools and techniques have. And then when we finish at the end, we'll come back and we'll kind of unpick what happened and maybe why some of those things happened in the way they did. And you can ask some questions about it. Feel free just to sit back and enjoy it. But also, if you are really curious about, why this one and not that, and what happened here, then we can have a conversation about it and get into, I'm a bit of a coaching nerd, so we can get into a bit of the process of it. Please do keep yourself on mute for the session just so that we can give Georgina the space to talk. And when we get into the demonstration, then I would ask you just to switch your cameras off. I mean, obviously you'll still be in the room, but it just means that Georgina and I can focus on each other. And then I can also make Georgina a bit bigger on the screen so that you can see a bit more detail. So the demo will be for about 35 minutes or so. We'll take a bit of time after just to review some of the skills that we used, and then we'll get into a conversation about it. Before we jump into it, does anyone have any last minute questions that you need to have answered just about the process, just so that you can feel good that you know what's happening? Cool. So thank you, everyone. So if you wouldn't mind just popping your cameras off for now, and then we will welcome you back. Georgina, I'm just going to make you a bit bigger on my screen. Oh, thank you, Marion. And Georgina, you might just, where are you? Oh, if I pinned the wrong person, Marion, I pinned you. I'm so sorry. That was totally me. There we go. And Marion, if you could just switch your camera off. If not, I can do that for you. Would that be okay? There you go. That would have been a surprise for Marion. Suddenly, you're here. So, Georgina, welcome. Welcome to this space. Welcome to a coaching session. It's really nice to be able to have the opportunity to work with you today.
Yes, it literally what a great start to the day for me.
How are you arriving in the space?
Yeah, I'm arriving with I feel like very grounded today. I had a lovely early morning swim. And
Wow.
it was a beautiful sunrise with the mist coming through the trees here in the countryside. So yeah, I feel like um yeah, grounded and clear.
Grounded and clear. Nice. The evocative mistiness of it.
Yeah.
Um, so we've obviously worked together before in this kind of space, but just for today we can kind of make the assumption that you know what coaching is. You know, I'm not going to go through here's coaching because that wouldn't be real, that wouldn't be authentic. You know that we're going to be working together for about 35 minutes or so. I guess with any of my coaching sessions, I always just give a bit of a kind of an outline of, you know, within this space. Obviously, today we're being observed, but it's confidential. You know, I wouldn't go and talk about this anywhere else. And sometimes just because I ask you a question doesn't mean you have to answer the question, that you're in control of the territory. And if we come to a place that you don't want to be, we just move away. And everything's an invitation. It's like going to a breakfast buffet in a hotel. You know, you take what you like and you leave what you don't. Is there anything that you want to ask about the process before we dive in?
I know, I think that's all good. Thank you, though. Thanks.
Cool. It's really nice to do this with you. So, as you're arriving in that space of feeling grounded, what would you like to explore together today?
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about it, and I'm in a living situation sort of transition at the moment, hence being at my mum's here currently. So I thought it might be a really nice opportunity to just think about future places for myself to live. So there's a bit of an opening in my life to have an opportunity to consider that, and maybe sort of in particular the question, what kind of environment feels the most nourishing for me to live in next. So, be it city, I've been living in London now for, oh gosh, like I can't even think of how many years, 10, something like that. I was brought up in the countryside, or is it somewhere else as well, abroad? So, yeah, I thought that just might be nice to explore today.
Options.
Yes. Yeah.
With the time that we've got, I wonder if there's a part of it that feels more important for us to focus on.
Yeah. Um, I think I know, well, I'm becoming a lot more in touch, let's say, with the fact that a physical space and environment is really important for me.
Mm,
So, from a human design lens, I'm a reflector energy profile, so I absorb from the environment I'm in and the space I'm in. So,
hmm.
um, I think I probably made living situations previously that I haven't been so intentional about or conscious about necessarily.
Okay.
Um, and I'm part of me is realizing I've been, as I say, in London for a few years now. Part of me is realizing how much my system is resourced and regulated when I come back down to the countryside or
Mm,
away. And there's also a part of me that enjoys the buzz of a city and feels
mm,
energy and things from that. So I feel a bit torn
okay.
between the two, and I guess maybe just yeah, just maybe getting a little bit more clarity. I've never really had the space to fully think about it with someone else in this sort of witness way,
Mm,
partnership sort of sense. So yeah.
okay. So some space to think,
Mhm.
something there about maybe hoping for a bit of clarity.
Yes.
just in this space of, oh, what are the options? You know, there's city, there's countryside, knowing a bit more about yourself and
Yeah,
some lessons that you may be learning about
yeah,
past experiences.
yeah, yeah. And also just there might be only certain options that I'm aware of. And are there are there things I haven't considered potentially before, or
Okay.
yeah,
So the city, the country, and maybe something else.
yeah, yeah. There's
Nice.
always been an itch in me to potentially go abroad or live abroad again, or travel. And uh so yeah, I'm sort of feeling quite open to
Mm.
an opportunity, and wondering what feels right for me right now.
And in that sense of open, what would be a great outcome by the end of the time that we have together today?
Yeah. Um, I guess it's just feeling a little bit more into the options, and having maybe a bit more of an understanding. Um, I'm absolutely not expecting to make a decision today,
Okay.
but maybe just more of an understanding as to um, what feels aligned uh, for me.
What feels aligned? So no pressure to come to a decision,
Oh no, yeah,
but what feels aligned. And imagine you got that,
yeah.
what feels aligned. How might that feel?
Ooh, um, yeah. I think when I feel really fully aligned, I feel this almost like core, almost like a sort of core thread through me. I don't know if you've ever watched Hercules, but you know when there's a scene where they cut this like golden thread, but it doesn't cut. It feels a bit
Mm.
like that. It's like this just core sort of golden strength. Um,
Mm.
but it is aligned fully sort of through me. Yeah, it's so hard to explain almost in words, but yeah, it's a certainty.
And what might have been getting in the way of contacting that golden thread?
Yeah, I think in terms of a living scenario, I guess I've always just lived in the sense of like to um what's been practical, like what's made sense or what's been close to a sort of job, for example, if I was going into
Mm.
the office or something like that. So with some of my work now being online and remote, it just gives me the opportunity to actually really think about where what is most nourishing for me in terms of an environment right now,
Mm.
because of course permission to evolve and grow and that to change. um but yeah, I think what's been getting in the way is really just like practicalities, and being a bit more tied to that previously.
Mm. So I heard there, what's most nourishing for me. There was also the question of like what feels aligned. I wonder if we were to just squeeze that a bit further, is there like an overarching question that you would love to spend some time on?
Yeah. I think, yeah, I don't know, something's coming into my mind of it's kind of like where I feel torn is, um I really want to be more around nature. I also want to be around like a community as well. And I guess where I'm feeling torn is I'm sort of thinking, oh, it's either the city where a lot of my community currently
Mm.
are, or the countryside, but then that feels a bit isolated. So I guess it's also maybe I feel I'm I'll try and get to a specific question here. Um hmm, I guess it's wondering where I can combine both. Where could I combine the qualities in an environment that I'm looking for at the moment. So nature, a community, spaciousness, pace to I really want to connect more with cyclical living and seasons and nature in that sense, which
Mm.
is why nature is such a strong call. Um, but I think I can almost feel in my mind I'm like boxed, into
Right.
like city, countryside, or something. Maybe there's a tying together or a way to unbox myself.
Mm.
um,
Way to unbox myself.
yeah.
And how would that be?
Hmm. Unboxing almost feels a bit more like an unknown.
Okay.
I think it's like, I don't know where I get this from, but when things are sort of boxed, it feels quite neat and contained. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'll just live in a city next, or, and that could be a city abroad. That could be, there's lots of different obviously options around that. Whereas unboxing actually feels like I feel a bit more excited about that, actually, strangely. I feel more expanded into a bit more open up to anything, any sort of option.
Mm. I have an idea for a bit of an experiment,
Yeah.
if you might fancy it. And like I said at the beginning, like all of this is an invitation. If it doesn't feel like the right thing, it's just something that we might want to explore together. How does that sound?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So this would involve just working with a small object. Like, is there something just around you in your field of vision that you can just hold in your hand? Like any ordinary object is fine.
Luckily, there's lots of objects around here right now. um, yeah. Mm. This is a very cool object, so I'm going to bring this one into the picture, which I've never
Okay.
ever seen before. But it's a glass bowl. Sorry, it's not glass bowl. It's glass bowl. With like a dandelion. Before they shed their seeds, they blow.
Mm,
I don't know if you can see that
mm,
there. It just caught my eye because I've not seen it before. Yeah.
okay. How might it be to imagine that this object that you're holding in your hand represents this situation, this unboxing?
Mm.
Like when you hold that unboxing like this, what do you notice?
Oh yeah, I'm getting like a tingles actually sort of like coming up from my diaphragm,
Mm,
almost like, yeah, almost like just before you smile and the corners of your mouth go up, it's a kind of like rising of that, and like a slight like I can feel my heart beating slightly faster in like an excitement way.
mm,
um it feels freeing. There's something about this dandelion thing where I just really like visualizing when the seeds start blowing away,
mm,
and they can blow wherever, and that might land wherever. um but there's freedom in that. It feels freeing. um
mm,
yeah, and it's so interesting actually because the glass is sort of encasing this dandelion seed, so it almost feels like it's boxed in.
right.
But to represent the unboxing, and that to then be like, it almost feels like it shouldn't be boxed in because this dandelion seeds are meant to fly away and be free.
Mm.
So it's really interesting actually. Yeah, it's almost like don't be boxed in.
Don't be boxed in. And what else?
um it's quite heavy. The
Hmm.
object's quite heavy, so again that feels like the boxing is heavy. um it's weighing what is usually free in the natural world. it's weighing that down. Um, yeah, I'm really feeling the heaviness of the object.
Mm. Does the object have any perspective that it wants to offer you?
Mm. Yeah, it's kind of I'm getting this like connection back to this uh part of my human design kind of type, which is um how beneficial it is for me to just be open and
Mm.
let things flow through me and be fluid and open ultimately to what wants to flow through me. And I'm kind of just the perspective that's coming from this is almost like how it's like how cut off actually this is from its natural way of being, um because it's boxed in. So
Mm.
it's almost sort of like don't be boxed in. It's like almost like quite literally like yelling at me,
Okay.
sort of don't be boxed in, like look how, you know, deadening this is in a
Right.
sense.
And just notice if there's any impulse that's arising in you as a result of that.
It's not a very good one, but I kind of want to smash the glass, but it's not good because um I want to set it free.
How might it be if you did follow that impulse?
Oh, it would be very satisfying. I think I'd probably receive a few angry words later. Yeah, there's something in me, like, but I won't do it obviously, but there's something in me that kind of just wants to um break it, break the boxing, the encasement, the kind of like feeling of being trapped.
Mm. A feeling of being trapped.
Mm-hmm. Mm. There's like a real urge to, because it's a obviously a sort of like image of the natural world in a sense. There's a real urge for me to like return it outside
Mm.
and to be like outside more. Um, hmm.
So if you were to place the object somewhere that felt resonant just now, where might that be?
Yeah, I feel like I want to place it as like close to this window as possible. Almost outside. I'm just gonna put it right over here. Yeah. Hmm.
And now what do you notice?
I'm noticing I'm quite far away from the object.
Hmm.
Something like I'm feeling the distance. Um, and that feels nice. Like I
Mm.
was feeling the heaviness in my hands throughout the sort of connection with it. And now it's quite far away. It looks smaller. It's not impacting me as much.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm feeling less sort of trapped because I was starting to feel quite impacted by the fact that it was trapped in that way.
Mm.
Mm.
So feeling less trapped, like it's a
Yeah,
bit further away.
yeah,
And in
yeah.
relation to the idea of unboxing, where
Yeah.
are we now?
Um, it's just it feels like there's such a strong, really interestingly, resistance within me to feel boxed
Mm.
into options. Um, yeah, I can't kind of shake really from my experience this how heavy that object was and how heavy that boxing felt. Like it feels like a bit of a weight has almost been lifted off my shoulders. Like I feel like slightly more expanded in my chest, slightly lighter
Mm.
because I've let go of the boxing in a sense, which yeah, that feels really freeing.
Mm. And you might just check if
Yeah.
that feeling of freeing just wants to be there as
Mm.
much as it wants to be. This lightness in your shoulders, this weight that's off your shoulders. Maybe just allowing that to be there as fully as it wants to be. You might just take a couple of breaths and notice any sensation that comes with that sense of freeing.
Yeah, I've noticed something in me wants to sort of like sit back a bit more, like open up, like like stretch my legs out. I've got this quite strong visual in my mind of now these seeds floating away, like in the wind, just in the nature, like in its natural place in the natural world. Um,
So, how might it be just to allow your body to
hmm,
stretch out? Maybe see if you can just give it what it's asking for.
mhm. Yeah, I'm really connecting with this like visuals again in my head of this like the seeds floating away, like on the wind. It almost feels so light. Um, how they kind of dance sometimes in the wind and blow this way and that way. Uh, and they don't really know where they're going. Do you know what I mean? They don't have a sat nav or GPS, I guess, these seeds when they're like floating around. But that just feels so it feels so like right.
It feels so right.
Hmm. There's like a letting go in it as well. There's like a letting go of needing to have a destination, um,
Mm.
and just allowing yourself to land where you land, like not needing to know that before. Because it sort of feels like it depends. It depends on lots of different scenarios of it. It depends how windy it is that day. It depends on these other influences and energies in your life, and experiences. And yeah, that just feels really freeing to connect with. Like there doesn't need to be a decision about where I land right now.
Might we try a different kind of experiment?
Of course, yeah, yeah,
So this is a different kind of experiment. That experiment, you were
yeah,
holding something. This experiment is more around kind of noticing um, how something lands. I'm just going to say a sentence to you
yeah, yeah,
and to see what it might evoke. Maybe nothing, or maybe something.
yeah,
The way this experiment would work is that I would invite you just to come into, like, we might use the word mindfulness, but that has different connotations. For us here and now, it just means making yourself comfy, just so you can
mm,
observe the reaction inside you
mm-hmm.
as I say this sentence to you, and that you just let me know if you notice anything when you hear it.
Yeah,
How would that be?
yeah. Sounds good. I might close my eyes as well just to feel potential reaction.
Yeah, closing your eyes sometimes just gives you the chance to really notice what's there.
Mhm.
So just making yourself really nice and comfy, and I'm going to say this sentence to you. Just once you let me know that you're ready to receive it. So maybe just saying, I'm ready, or just giving me a thumbs up, and we'll just notice if anything happens. So Georgina, just notice what happens when you hear me say, you can't make a wrong decision. You can't make a wrong decision.
So I noticed initially like a sort of widening in me, like
Hmm.
around my sort of abdomen area, stomach, sort of belly abdomen area. Then a smile, then a sort of like releasing in a sense of around sort of chest, shoulders area. And really interestingly, like then I felt a sort of pull forwards,
Mm.
which was really interesting, like a kind of pull towards. Yeah, it was like pulling my core, my center
Mm.
upwards, which was surprising.
Surprising.
Mm,
Say more about surprising.
yeah, and like just surprised at that strong pull forwards. Um, it it feels like a bit trying to put that into language. It feels a little bit um like I was about to say motivation, but that's not quite it. But it
Hmm.
feels like a kind of step actually in the direction of where I need to go.
Mm.
That's a better way of saying it. So it was actually quite like um it was more than just a pleasant feeling.
Hmm.
It was a forward moving like step almost.
Mm.
Mm.
And now that you know that,
Yeah. Um I I kind of feel excited about what it that might be. Like, it feels good to move forwards, and I'm kind of just curious about how that how I might what the integration of that might be.
mm, what might you feel compelled to do about that?
Yeah. Um there was just something about those words that ultimately there was some or all I can kind of logically think is there's ultimately something about those words that rippled out into my system, and it just feels like something else is putting me forward,
Mm.
uh like quite a strong like something else is strongly pulling me forward, and it feels like in the right direction of where I need to go. It's
Right.
just in a nice way, it's kind of like a letting go of like me feeling like it's me that needs to an awareness of just like there are absolutely other things at play, and this is almost feels like it's come in to show me that it's there to help me
Mm.
move forward or something like that. Yeah, yeah.
And maybe you could just thank it for showing up.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that feels right.
let it know that you'll be back again.
Mm.
And we've just got a few minutes left, Georgina, in this session. I'm just wondering, what do we need to do between now and then to get us to where we need to be?
Yeah, I think it feels like a lovely like place to close in a sense. I think what I was just thinking as well when you said what might you do now as well. I think those words had such a visceral effect on me that I feel like
Mm,
just going to sit with my, see if I can sit with myself over the next few days and get to a mindful place and say those words to myself again to connect more with what that either part of me or part of external energies was pulling me forwards and see if I can build up that connection
mm.
more.
And at the beginning, you were mentioning this core, this connection and wanting to feel more aligned to it. I'm just wondering, where are we now with that?
Yeah, it feels so powerful in a sense because I remember talking about the core through me, and I can like, I know I'm not describing it very well, but I can feel where that is like in my mind, body, and it's like what happened there grabbed that core
Mm,
thread and pulled it forwards, but it literally like wrapped around that and pulled it forward. So it's being connected with, which is why I feel so strongly that where that is pulling me towards is the right where I need to go.
mm. Where's this taking you now?
Mm, I'm just so curious. um, but it feels like it's taking me forward, and that's
Mm,
positive, you know. Um, it feels motivating, it feels exciting, like I feel anticipation.
mm.
Um, and yeah, it's so hard to explain, but I can like always feel it still like holding on, and yeah, it feels very connected right now.
It's very connected right now. And so as we come to an end,
Mm,
um, it might be that there's some kind of integration that you want to do or need to do with this.
yeah.
And so when we come into the conversation part of the session, absolutely great if you want to turn off your camera, if you want to do any kind of journaling, movement,
Yeah.
exploring of the object, exploring of the whatever you need to do just
Mm,
to integrate anything so that you don't lose it. You can
yeah.
absolutely take that time.
Thank you.
Um, what question are you leaving with now?
Mm, I'm leaving with um, what am I being pulled towards?
What am I being pulled towards?
Yeah, which feels like yeah, so much anticipation and excitement around that. It feels really positive, powerful.
Thank you. Thank you, Georgina. Thank you for doing this and for doing it in front of everyone as well, which is always, an extra layer of
Mm.
something. So thank you so much for volunteering to do
Thank
this
you so much,
today.
Paul. That was really powerful. Thank you. I appreciate it so
Oh,
much.
you're so welcome. Feel free to take yourself off camera if you want to. We're not going to be talking about your content. We'll talk about the process. So yeah, you're absolutely fine to take yourself off camera, and I'm also going to remove the spotlight from you. So thank you, Georgina. For the folk in the room, feel free to come back on camera. It'd be lovely to see your faces. And just in the final 10 minutes of the session, I guess just to give you a bit of a run through of, for those who maybe haven't experienced somatic coaching before, um, somatic coaching is coaching, it's rooted in coaching. So what I was trying to do there in that session was to give a really good start and a really good finish. So spending some time at the beginning thinking about what was really important to my client, maybe a question that they might have, and then coming back to that at the end just to see what they might do with that. And then in the middle, there was a couple of particular techniques that I used because I thought, oh, there's something there about it wasn't necessarily a decision, but it was about a, for me, there was something about the relationship to the decision, the relationship to the question. And so there was a tool that we used there, which is called object feedback, which is where the embodiment comes from just finding this random object, like I've got this timer, and then you get this connection to it, and you're having a conversation with it in a way that is different to having a conversation with yourself. Can be really effective just in terms of maybe just giving a bit more space to explore what's this relationship with this thing, this issue. And then the second kind of more deliberate thing that we did there was called a verbal experiment, and that's it's something that's used if as a coach you get a sense that there might be some kind of underlying belief that's maybe holding the person back. Like it's a guess, it's an experiment. You don't need to be right or wrong. But as I was thinking, I was kind of going, is there something here about being worried about making the wrong decision? About the decision having to be perfect. And so the verbal experiment is an opportunity to kind of just float something in, not to check if it's right or wrong, but to see what sensations react and respond. Because the sensations are the language of the body. They're very present moment. They're not a thinky thing. And so the verbal experiment I thought might give us an opportunity just to explore what happens if that sentence comes in contact with a belief of, oh, I have to get it right. So they were the two kind of main tools that I used in that session. In a general kind of coaching session, I might only use one, I might use four. It depends on what the content is. Like it's always very much driven by the client. Um, how about from you? What did you observe? What questions might you have? Like I'd love to just have a few minutes of conversation before we bring the wheels down for a landing. Kayla, you've got notes. I mean, that's already like above and beyond. Feel free, everyone, just to take yourselves off mute and just have a bit of a conversation about it. Go for it, Kaylee.
Okay. So I've not come from a coaching background, just FYI. So I really liked some of the stuff you started with, like, how are you arriving in this space? Because it made me think
Mm.
of, say, more traditional talking therapy. And
Uh-huh.
if they start with how are you, there's a tendency to almost just jump around time and space because you think of how long it's been since you last spoke. And you
Yeah.
sort of go, oh, well, I feel kind of like this, but I have been like this, and it's not very like this felt like a really good phrasing for her to be immediately present at the start of the session with, oh, well, what is this right now? And
Yeah.
like having her like bring that focus right to the now, I thought that was really good. And the idea of everything being an invitation. Um, I kind of noted that there was you kind of echoed this summary back to her of like what she'd already told you,
Hmm.
kind of clarity confirmation. Um, and then asking her about the outcome as well, I just thought was just it's really encouraging the client to kind of formulate an end goal as to
Yeah.
what actually do I want? Where are we trying to go? So I thought
Yeah.
that was just like really good for just getting that direction. Um, and then I quite liked the sort of trying on of the different scenarios.
Uh-huh.
Um, just yeah, just to get her to think, well, if I went this way, what does that feel like? If I went that way, what does that feel like? I thought that was just, it seemed like it was really quickly on its way to kind of helping her get more and more clarity from it,
Mm.
from kind of doing that. Um, and I suppose as much as I'm aware that kind of somatic side of things is more about tuning into the body, it almost still surprised me how much it went into that and how kind of little thinky it was.
Yeah.
And kind of how a lot of the things that you said, I mean, yeah, there were quite a lot of questions, but there was also quite a lot that almost wasn't really a question. It was just sort of like, tell me more on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I thought, yeah, it almost dawned on me how there was a lot of work being done from your side, and that, like, obviously just lots of cogs turning about what you were picking up, but almost not all that much actually having to be said, or like
Yeah.
from your side.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's such a beautiful observation, actually, because it does sometimes feel like my brain's on fire as I'm thinking, but I have to go, none of that shows. Because
Totally.
it's like as little as possible almost. And what you
Definitely.
said at the beginning about the kind of entry into the space, like for me, it's one of the big distinctions between coaching and talk therapy. You know, often a therapeutic approach sometimes has a kind of backward orientation, as in like, you know, tell me
Yeah.
what happened, tell me. Coaching for me is very much like, what's going on for you right now? And so
Yeah.
I would never start a coaching session by asking someone like, oh, what happened since last time? Because immediately they're telling a story rather than just going, what's here? So I'm really grateful you picked that up. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kaylee. Thank you for all that
definitely.
feedback. Mafalda, I want to bring you in as well because we're just about coming to a close. Thank you, Kaylee. Amazing. And hopefully this has given you a little spark of coaching. Mafalda,
Uh,
please do come in.
I'm curious about your experience, if you can tell us a bit more about your experience. So it's quite, it's evident that Georgina has a background, so she can feel the sensations in her body. She has no trouble, saying how these sensations are for
Yeah.
her. So let's imagine that he's a newbie in
Yeah.
this sort of practice, and this person has really trouble, feeling in her body, kind of a blackout. She's not used to feel, right?
Yeah.
So how would the session have been different, based on your experience? How does
Yeah.
that go?
Yeah, that's a lovely question. And over the course of the training, over the modules, what we do is we uh, what's the word? I want to use the word titration, but I don't know if that's even a word. There's something about the density of how we get into it. There are some things which involve no response from the client whatsoever that still mean I'm taking a body oriented approach. And then there are other parts where we might just offer something really light touch, and then other things where we go into like a full 10-minute process. And so as a coach, what you through the experience of it, you learn to be able to take how much flavor does this person need or want at the moment, and it might be just a little bit of salt, that's enough, or it might be the full spectrum of everything. And so we give you so many different tools, like so many different techniques that you can choose from, that by the end of it you've got this kind of toolkit of stuff where you can go, actually, for this person where they are right now today, we can try this. Because it could be that someone, even someone who's really experienced in body work and sensations, they're just having a bad day and they're a bit more in their head. So, you know, we always blend both the conceptual and the embodied. It's never one or the other. It's always both. You can do a perfectly good coaching session just in the conceptual space. And then we give you the tools so that you can just bring in you might get a little signal that goes, oh, there might be something there. There might be a thing where we could just float in a little bit of the embodiment. So it definitely feels easier with a bit of time and practice, but throughout the training you get the chance to practice on all of the different skills so that you begin to get that fine tuning. But lovely question. Thank you. And thank you, Stasia, for the comment as well. That's really nice. We are coming to the end of this session. Welcome back, Georgina. Thank you so much for doing that again. We're coming back to the end of this session, but there is going to be another session actually, which Georgina is going to be running in 30 minutes, which is much more of the detail of, okay, what's this all about in terms of training with the somatic school. So you can stay on this Zoom link, you can rejoin with the same link in 30 minutes for that session. But also we're mindful that you've given your time today and you've been with us for this last hour, and I'm very grateful for that. It might be that this is the only session that you're coming to. So if this has sparked something and you think, oh, I'd quite like to maybe find out a bit more about the training, then please just put the word yes into the chat and then we can follow up with you afterwards. You can also book a call directly if that's something that you're interested in doing. If you're already thinking, yeah, I think I might quite fancy this, then I'm just going to share a slide here. You can scan the QR code and that gives you the chance to book a call directly. Um, we've got spaces. The one that I'm going to be trying, and all of our trainers are amazing. Like genuinely, everyone is amazing. Of course, I would love to work with you in the next one. I'm going to be running a cohort in November. We've got space on that November intake, and if you decide that you want to enroll within 2 weeks of this session, then not only do you enroll in that program, but you also get a place on a 3-day immersive graduate program in body oriented coaching, which would normally cost you £750. You also get 4 one-to-one supervision sessions, which would normally be worth £500, all at no extra cost because you've already given us some of your time today. So that's our way of saying thank you for that. Thank you so much for coming today. This has been such a joy. Georgina, thank you for doing this with me. Meryl, thank you for asking me to come and be part of it. And everyone, thank you so much for coming and just being part of this wonderful experience. Please do just type the word yes in the chat if you want us to get in touch and give you some more information. And wherever you are in the world, have a lovely day or evening or morning or wherever you are in time. Thank you for coming, everyone. Feel free to come off mute and say goodbye if you want to.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
you,
Paul. It was
everyone.
lovely to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Thank you, folks.